Hi, I'm Msgr Jamie, and welcome to this episode of Breaking Bread. Today, we're here at the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and we're going to try out some of the two staple foods of this feast, sausage and peppers and zeppolis. And we have someone on our show today that's been covering this feast for almost 50 years, Ed Wilkinson. It's going to be a great show, so don't go away. Hi, I'm Msgr Jamie, and welcome to this episode of Breaking Bread. Today we're here at the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, my parish. And today we have with us someone that has been covering this feast for almost 50 years, Mr. Ed Wilkinson from the Tablet.
That's right.
Ed, how are you?
Good seeing you. How are you? And I've been coming to this feast for more than 50 years because when I was a kid, I grew up right across McCarran Park in Greenpoint.
Oh, you grew up here?
So we walked right over here to Williamsburg. And
Are you Polish?
I'm not Polish. No. Irish and German. But
Okay.
we'd come over here and we'd enjoy all of the Italian delicacies. And our favorites when I was a kid were the zeppolis.
Zeppolis.
You know, the zeppolis with the powdered sugar, that was the big treat. I think you used to get 3 for a quarter back then.
Three for a quarter. You know how much they are now?
I don't want
Yeah,
But
$5 a dozen.
Yeah, but in the last
Crazy.
30 years or so, I've been here almost every year covering it.
I know.
And I've learned what a great religious feast it is. It's not just a social event.
Right, exactly.
But, it's really got a nice, beautiful religious thing to the whole thing. So I love this feast. This is the feast. This is the feast.
I mean, San Gennaro is a bigger feast,
Right.
but we are the better feast.
That's right.
And by the way, we are the longest running feast in the city, days-wise. We have 12 days. And San Gennaro is only 11. But it's a great feast, and as you say, it's still a parish feast. It's still a religious feast.
That's right.
We have the procession with Our Lady of Mount Carmel on the 16th. We have the Giglio, lifting of the Giglio in honor of St. Paulinus. We have the novena here for 9 nights. So there's a lot of religious background to this feast. And it's really run by the parish and the church, and it really supports the parish and the church too. It's really an old-time feast, and you grew up in this neighborhood, so you've seen the change throughout the years.
Oh, yeah, the change in the neighborhood is tremendous. You know, at one time, the north side was, well, it was a mixture of a lot of Slovak people, Polish people.
Right.
Now it's become more of a gentrified area.
Yes.
You got a lot of young people moving into the neighborhood. I guess it's a challenge
The
for you.
hipsters, yeah, so it
This
is.
was one time a great Italian parish, which it still is, but I guess smaller, on a smaller
Much
scale,
smaller.
right?
Many of the Italians have moved away. We have a pocket of the people, the old-timers, or the leftovers, as the new people call us. But many of them moved from here to Middle Village and Ridgewood, but they come back for the feast.
Yeah.
And they even come back on Sunday because they have such a love for this parish. The original church was where the expressway was, the BQE.
Right.
And in the 40s, they had to tear it down. Robert Moses came down and he knocked it down, and they built the BQE.
Right.
And they built our church, but they never expected our church to survive because there was 3 blocks down was Our Lady of the Annunciation.
Right.
3 blocks down was St. Vincent. So we
Sure.
had a lot of churches. So they built it almost like a hall so that it could be used by the other parishes as a center. But what kept this parish alive was the feast.
Yeah.
And now we're the strongest parish in the neighborhood.
Sure. And you know, like I said before, when I was a kid, this was the feast.
The
You know,
feast.
we didn't know there were any other feasts.
No.
We never heard of San Gennaro as
No,
a kid.
exactly.
This was the feast, and we'd come over here. And then later on, of course, when I joined the tablet staff, we'd come over here and cover it for the newspaper. And that's when I learned all of the religious significance, St. Paulinus and the Giglio, and the meaning of the boat and the Giglio coming together. I
Right.
mean, if you've never seen that,
You have
it's
to see
something
it.
you'll have to see because it's hard to believe you got 100 men underneath and lifting that whole structure up
Well,
in
you
the
can
air.
make that happen because if they can't physically get here, you can put it in the tablet
That's
so they can
right.
read about it. But you know, even talking about bringing people together on the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, which we had the other day, we have a mass here in English, Italian, Creole, Spanish, and Polish. And we had all the bishops here. We had Bishop Sansaric, We had Bishop Sanchez, we had Bishop Vito, we had Bishop Massa, we had Bishop DiMarzio, and we had Monsignor Casado. But we had all and the people that came from all parts of the diocese, especially the Haitians, and the devotion that they have to Our Lady. It was wonderful to see the thousands. It's almost like a pilgrimage. It's a tradition, not just for our parish, it's a tradition for our whole diocese, because this is a place where people come. They actually take off from work to walk in the procession, to go to the church for the novena. It's just a wonderful celebration, and I think it's needed more now than ever before, because there's such diversity in our society, and there's, everyone's on opposite sides of the spectrum, but the feast brings people together.
And you know what's good though? A lot of times we tend to play down our external expressions of the faith. But here we take our faith right out into the streets, right?
Yes.
And you have the statue of St. Paulinus, and you march it down the street, and there's music, and
we go around with the bread.
Right, the brown scapulas. I think that's good.
Yeah.
After the Vatican Council, there was a tendency to internalize a lot of this stuff and not to be so outgoing about it. But I think these external expressions really teach the faith, and it's good for the faith today.
And it brings the faith into the streets, and because this neighborhood has changed, and there's a lot of hipsters, a lot of people from the Midwest, and they really don't have any religion, or they were baptized and they haven't practiced. And the church and our processions and what we do, the feast, at least it brings it to their attention. And even in our parish, we have a food pantry that we serve 1,000 meals a week. And many of the people from the neighborhood volunteer there. We have 42 addiction groups here that meet. It's a service to the community. So they come, and once they're here, they see they're being serviced. So maybe they take a look at the statue of Christ or Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and it makes them think. So that's our goal right now. We're going to take a break.
Okay, good.
And I know we have a lot to talk about, because we have a lot of history here.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't go away, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and we'll also be talking about some of these sausage and peppers right here at Carmine's stand. Oh, okay. Oh, and then you take it like that, right? Welcome back to Breaking Bread, and we have with us Ed Wilkinson from the Tablet, and we're joined here by Carmine of Carmine Sausage and Peppers. This smells great.
Yes.
How long you been doing this, Carmine?
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years. All right. Now, what do you have here?
We got hot sausage,
Hot sausage.
sweet sausage, onions and peppers. Then we got a shish kebab.
Shish kebab, okay.
Brajol.
Brajol. I like the brajol. Now, the brajol is the rolled beef,
Right.
and you put seasoning in there.
Season inside cheese, pasta.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you put this all on a piece of bread.
Piece of bread, Italian bread.
You want to make one? Let's see if we can make one. Put one right in here. I like hot. Okay. Peppers in there.
Peppers and onions.
All right. Ed, do you remember eating these as a kid?
I love these things. Yeah, always you ate them.
Let me know what you think.
When you come to the feast, you have to have a sausage and peppers,
You can't
right?
beat it.
Because you had to pick a hot one, though.
Is that good?
Delicious.
After 30 years of experience,
Yes.
this is wonderful.
Yes.
You've been coming to this feast here?
Over 30 years.
Where's the best feast in the city of New York?
Over here, Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel. Thank you. Kamanuch, thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you for being with us today. And thank you for your sausage and peppers.
That's good.
Thank you.
Very good. So Ed, you've been at the Tablet 49 years?
49 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that was obviously after Vatican II, but I mean, you've seen the church go through many changes. You covered popes, the death of popes, the elections of popes.
Yeah,
and
I've seen, I've seen the diocese change so much demographically.
how many bishops?
Four, let's see, Msgr, Daly, and now Bishop DiMarzio. So 3 bishops.
Okay.
And which is pretty unheard of for most
Right.
Catholic press editors.
Right.
I don't. So, but the highlights you mentioned, we covered papal trips, and really the highlight of my career was in 1995 when I got to meet Pope John Paul II. And that was really a thrill. And I met him. He was on a trip here to New York, and I was invited over to Manhattan, myself and a couple of other Catholic press editors. And we met the Holy Father one-on-one, shook hands with him, had pictures taken.
Wow.
I gave him a copy of the tablet, so that was really the highlight of my career.
That must have been exciting. Even for myself, I worked on the arrival
Sure.
and departure of the Pope. We worked together at Kennedy Airport.
Yes.
And you know, it was a great experience. And you know, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of excitement, but it's wonderful to see the people that come out and his presence, what it does to them. It's like, it's something they remember for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, well, it's like we were talking about before, about making contact with people, right? That's what evangelization is all about. And when a Holy Father comes to the United States, it's a big media event, we're making contact with the general public. People are seeing the church in a different light. And it's the same thing that you're doing here, like with the feast, making contact with people in the neighborhood, trying to introduce yourself to new people. So it's all evangelization. That's what we're talking about here.
I mean, here, like this feast, like we were talking about earlier, I mean, it's all about being there for the people. And, you know, I think I'm in the right place because, you know, I have that personality that I reach out to people. You know, I'm not so shy, but, you know, it's not like years ago where, you know, you open the church doors and people flocked in.
Right.
Now the priest and the people have to go out and
Right.
meet the people and gradually invite them in one by one. And it's a great tool for evangelization.
And you've made some changes here. I noticed that Giglio looks a little different this year.
Well, I mean, I really cannot take credit for that because we have a committee and there's a group of guys that they work here every Saturday from like October till July. And every 10 years or so, they put a new facade on the Giglio, and it's magnificent.
Beautiful.
It tells the life of Christ. There's the rosary there. Of course, it has St. Paulinus on the top, our Blessed Mother, and the risen Christ. It's just a wonderful thing. But with the parish, you know, I've done a lot of changes. I renovated Annunciation Church, which we have the two parishes combined now. It was 150 years old, one of the gems of our diocese.
It's a beautiful church.
And it was really falling apart. So we renovated that. I did work here. And you know what? I thought that the whole neighborhood was changing and they were building and the church was falling apart. You know, so it was time to spruce it up and let the people know that we've been here for 132 years and we'll be here for another 132 years. And the feast helps to make that happen. But, you know, we're going to leave here and we're going to go and try some of your favorite zeppolis.
Oh, wow. Zeppolis.
Hope you have some room.
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Don't go away. In a few minutes, we'll go taste some zeppolis, the staple food of any feast. See you then. Welcome back to Breaking Bread. We're here at the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. And after we had our sausage and peppers, we walked down the block to Pete's Zeppoli, the best zeppolis in all of the feast. New York, okay, all right. I was being kind. So tell me, Pete, how long have you been doing this?
Well, I started when I was about 7, 8 years old, and I'm 73. You
Wow.
figure it out.
Over 60 years.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. And how'd you get involved in this?
Well, my grandfather used to make them, my father.
Did they used to work in the feast?
Yeah. They worked in the feast in Italy, matter of fact.
In Italy, okay.
Exactly. They used to go from town to town with the horse and wagon. You know, it wasn't like today cars. They used to mountains like maybe 40, 50 miles. And
Wow.
and my uncle Vincent used to make the Torone.
The Tironi, yeah, we're selling the Tironi too.
On the spot.
The hard candy, and it's with a hammer and a
Exactly,
chisel to
right.
break it off. Now they have it in packages, but I remember coming to the feast when I was a kid. I used to come here, and we used to hammer it up with a hammer and chisel. Now, Ed, you've been coming to the feast.
I've been coming since I was a little kid, and this is the reason we always came, was for the zeppolis.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank
This has got to be the highlight of the feast.
It
This
is.
is the food of the feast, right?
It is.
Is this the most popular item, you think?
This and the sausage, I was
Sausage
saying.
and peppers, and we
Okay.
hit both of them today.
Right.
Now, what's the difference between fried dough and zeppoli?
Well, fried dough is a harder dough.
It's like bread dough, man.
Right, bread dough.
Okay.
Zeppoli is a softer dough. The word
More
itself
flour,
is like,
right.
See, like the Sicilians call it spingione. The word itself explains itself. Spingione. You're not sure.
It's more like a cakey
Right,
dough.
exactly.
And that's the different types of flours. They use bread
Right.
flour, and they have cake flour, and
Well,
has
the
different
product
gluten
that we use peanut oil. Comes
to
to
fry
best.
it, right?
It's fried. They use soybean, but it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
This Zeppolis, when they come out of here, there's no grease in it.
And you put the powdered sugar on, right?
Yeah,
Powdered
definitely.
sugar.
Yes. I would always say extra sugar, extra sugar.
Do you know some people use salt?
Is that right?
Did
Salt instead of sugar?
Yeah, the Jamaicans.
Really?
Yes, the salt.
Wow. You know, I know when I was a kid, I don't know how true it is. My mother used to say when we go to the feast, we'll eat the zeppolis the first few days because the oil is fresh.
Yeah, yeah.
But then we would wait. She said, don't get it at the end of the feast. They use the old oil. Is that true? You change this oil almost every day, right?
Yeah, we'll throw it out. We'll throw it
They
out.
throw it out, yeah. Now, tell me, on a busy night, approximately how many zeppolis do you go through?
It depends. You can go through maybe 2,100 to 2,200 zeppolis.
Wow. Now, we were saying earlier, when I was a kid, I think they were 5 for a quarter,
How about 3 for a dime?
3 for a dime,
3 for a dime and 9 for a quarter.
Wow.
9 for a quarter.
That's what they
Wow. And now,
were. And now they're a dollar a piece back to
they're a dozen for
$9.
$9 for a dozen.
Yeah, but then
Wow.
you bought a bag of flour for 75 cents. Now you got to pay almost $50 for a bag of flour.
Right. So everything goes up.
Everything is like in everything else.
And then your rent here in the feast goes up, right? You
Yeah,
gotta
right.
pay the church, right?
When this is really hot, how long do you have to cook the dough?
3.5 minutes.
3.5 minutes, all right.
Okay.
See, oil does not get hotter than 350 degrees.
Okay.
After that, if you don't control it, it's going to burn on you.
So you need to keep it at 350 degrees.
Right, exactly.
And if it gets too hot, they burn.
Right.
And if it's not hot enough, it absorbs too much oil.
Okay, what's the sound you're going to hear? Okay?
That means they're crispy.
Yeah, not quite ready yet.
So you can tell if they're ready by the sound.
Yeah?
Really? Now, while those are cooking, can I show us how I want to try.
Okay.
I've tried a couple of times, but I don't do a good job.
Watch your hands.
Wet your hands first.
Oh yeah, you gotta wash your
Four
hands.
fingers, Father. That's it. Okay. One hand at a time.
Now, why do you wet your hands so it doesn't stick?
This way it slides off your hand.
Okay.
You go like this here. See what I do?
Right.
You go, you put a hole, and you let it go.
Now you put the hole with your thumb.
Yeah.
You don't drop it.
Okay.
You don't throw it. You drop it.
You're gonna burn
And you make a
yourself.
hole. So let's try this again.
So what's the hole for? Why do you put the hole in it?
Cook better.
Okay.
So I make the hole, and I drop it in, right?
Slide it in. Yes. Hey, you got it.
Hey.
And by
hey.
sliding in it, it makes the hole open.
Yeah, see it?
Oh, I see. They look good. They look nice and golden brown.
Yes. It's a general idea.
And I like to, you have to eat these when they're hot. When they get cold, they're like hockey pucks. And sometimes they say take them home and put them in the toaster oven
no,
or
no,
microwave. No. You got to eat them fresh or
Right.
throw them away.
What I do to people, I tell them they're gonna put them in the oven. First, let the oven get hot. I give them the sugar on the side.
Mm-hmm.
You keep them there about 5 minutes. They'll come back to life, and you just pot of sugar.
All right, so put them in the oven and then put the sugar on, right?
Right.
Now you can refrigerate these overnight.
Yeah, you can.
could.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, Pete, thank you for being with us today. And
My pleasure.
hands are a little doughy.
Pete, good to
Okay,
see
thank
you.
But Ed is
Amen.
here.
This is
and,
the whole reason for coming to
yes.
the feast.
Okay, right.
And make sure when you come to the feast, you must have a sausage sandwich and you must have a zeppoli. The more sugar, the better.
Yes.
Ed and I made it into our kitchen, and we're going to try some of these zeppolis. But before we do that, Ed, I want to thank you for being here. Now, tell us a little about your show.
Well, I've got the show On the Block, and this is kind of like an On the Block meets Breaking Bread today,
Exactly,
right? Because
exactly.
we were out there. But we get a chance to go around and we talk to the priests of the diocese about their vocations. We had you on the show. You told us your great story. You know, it's a wonderful story. People love it.
In my 20s, I enjoyed working. We would go out partying afterwards. Going out for drinks after work, and I dated. I loved to travel. But through all of that, there was always something. I always had to go back to church. I was more interested in doing the retreats and doing the liturgies and lecturing and being there on Sunday, and it was always there. And I said, something. It seems to be more fulfilling for me to be in the church and serving people. I felt the Lord was calling me.
Stories are very inspirational about vocation. So that's what it's all about, right? And this is what the feast is all about.
Oh, the zeppolis. Let me taste one of these. And the more sugar, the better.
This is the reason to come to the feast.
And when you eat a zeppoli with sugar, don't wear black. For priests, it's a little hard.
Delicious. The original Pete's.
Yep. He's been around a long time. And when I was at Mary Queen of Heaven and St. Bernard, He would come, the feast I would have over there, St. Patrick's in Bay Ridge. Every parish I've been in, even growing up, we had the feast in St. Rita. Every parish I go to, if they don't have a feast, I start one. But this is the feast of all feasts, I have to say. You know, San Gennaro is big, but we're better.
That's
I
right.
always say that.
Number one, the feast.
But Ed, thank you, first of all, for being on the show.
My
But
pleasure.
also thank you for your almost 50 years of service. And I say service, not work. It's service to our diocese, to the tablet, and now the sales media. I know you're very much involved with that, with Monsignor Harrington. For all that you do to get the word, the message of God out to the people. It's so important today that we do that, and I thank you for that. And thank you for all the coverage you do for our feast over the years, and thank you for all the coverage you do with Breaking Bread and all of the work that I do at Futures in Education. You know, I
been a
raise all the
pleasure.
money for the Catholic Foundation, Futures in Education, the Annual Catholic Appeal, CYO. And it's nice that the people that donate to all of that see their stories, they see pictures of themselves, they see the events, and they see where all of their money is going to help the great people of this diocese. So,
Yeah, we have so much going on, and it's been a lot of fun, and it hasn't been really like work,
Right, I know.
because we enjoyed what we do, right?
I really enjoy working with you. In fact,
Thank
I
you.
think the first time we really started work together was for the 90th anniversary of the tablet.
remember
I was
that,
on
right?
that committee.
That was a big gala,
And
yeah.
Bishop DiMarzio was his first event
That's right.
that he came.
And he was very impressed.
Right, it was at the New York Marriott and the Brooklyn Marriott, excuse me.
Brooklyn.
And we had 1,100 people. And I remember that event, and that was a number of years ago.
And
That's
I
when
think
we
that's
started.
why I launched you off into all these other jobs.
Yeah, exactly. He said, this guy can really round
That's
up
right.
the troops.
He throws a party.
Oh, yeah. So it was good, but it was great working with you, and I look forward to
Thank you.
continue to work with you and everyone at the sales.
Good, thank you very much.
Before we end, let's say a prayer.
Sure.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. God, source of all love and all good, we are so grateful for the blessings that you have given to us. We are thankful for a successful feast this year, the 132nd annual feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel and St. Paulinus. We thank you for all those that make this possible. We are especially thankful for our lifters, for all that they do, the sacrifices that they make. May what they do here be blessed with good things for them and their families, for blessings for all of us who come here every year to bring the presence of God and Our Lady of Mount Carmel and St. Paulinus into our streets. Bless all that we do in your name, for you are our God forever and ever. Amen. God bless you all.
I'm Monsignor Jamie, and make sure you tune in the next time on Breaking Bread. See you then.